PG-18 rock the world in game one with 23 points. Not too shabby at all to start things off with here today. But it's going on to the second round of Erangel to see if they can do it all over again. Consistency is key, and consistency is going to be needed here if they want to keep jumping up the board with those points.
Yeah, indeed. And that's what, even to take away from kind of PG-18, the Jokers, they've been kind of consistent with their results. They've been, you know, not super duper impressive, but they showed signs of it. And in that last game, they did exactly the same thing. But now we look at the overall standings, as we saw with Northern Lights getting 0 points, but Airstation they didn't take advantage of that, unfortunately, and they only got 1 point, which puts them on equal footing. But because of the stronghold they had on the teams behind them, it's not really that much of a huge impact in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's it, right? It's just between those two for the moment. And Airstation Mike should have made the most of it with Northern Lights going out early, right? That's when you see something like that, you go, okay, this is time for us to jump ahead. This is time for us to capitalize on moments like this. But the plane is in the sky. We're going up from the north across Stalber all the way down towards military base, but focusing on the western side of it all. Everyone will be able to get to where they want to go, but some of these teams like to jump out earlier, especially when you get planes like this so far up in the north.
Like, it still blows my mind how close it is in the overall standings. Like, you know, you have ELG in 5th place on 108 points, and you have Unique in 13th place on 81. That's nothing. It's overall, it's absolutely nothing. I know, as we said, every point is going to count, but when you have PG-18 who got 23 points in that last game, you have Team Unique. They could do the same thing in the next game. Straight away, they're up there. So anything can happen.
And that's the beauty of it, right? It's not just the placement points you get alongside. If you're fragging out as well, you can make a big dent on the other teams and ensure that you can play catch-up in where all those points align. Now, military base this time around has only got home to Unique, so they're going to be very happy with that. And they'll probably be able to see it all as well and give a good understanding that, okay, we can bide our time a little bit further. But we'll shortly be finding out where this next circle goes, and that's going to be the reason we understand where some of these teams will go. You wanted it, Cormac. You've bloody well got it. Military base is fully encased within this first phase circle, and a little bit of the teams going down now from the north are going to be thinking, well, how quick do we want to rotate over? Now, sometimes you can go too fast, right? And you end up just going past all the other teams, and then you're in a whole world of hurt. But if you go too slow, you'll then end up yourself being bridge camped or multiple teams literally waiting for you to come across. So you've got to get that perfect timing right. And what they're looking to do is probably be faster than the likes of MJ, Northern Lights, and Istanbul Wildcats when it comes to it. Because they want to be able to obviously fight with teams, but not have too many around them. Now, Alrain, he fell short. Quite literally.
I don't quite know what happened, but I am kind of surprised that his teammates couldn't get to him. But yeah,
I think they were looking like EHOT was looking for the vehicle. Just maybe took him a little bit too long to get that, because the rest of them, they went over towards Kameshki, so they were on the eastern side while he'd gone to Stalber on his own. And well, that's not the way you want to start these games off. And it's not what they're going to be wanting to do, especially considering how far down south they've got to go as well. It's a big risk, only having 3 players to make that run.
And even how far down south in the standings they are, lying in 15th overall. They need every point that they can get. And when you're a 3-man team, even though it's not the most important, it just takes away that position, it takes away the angle, it takes away that level of aggression, right, that you can engage onto your opponents, because just every single man is going to count. But yeah, talking about this military island, James, we're going to see a few teams obviously probably make their way through from Milta in the boat across the way. 4 Kings will go on the boats from Primorsk. But we've also seen that not work out if they leave it too late. So they'll want to get the boat sometime relatively in the next couple of minutes to make their way into the island, because otherwise they'll find themselves pinched between 2 or 3 teams moving their way into the military island.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You can get the boats early before multiple teams are there trying to shoot you. The problem you have is when you're one of the ones later to the party, you grab that boat. Then you basically end up being a moving target, and a very big moving target at that. We've seen it many times. People get blown to smithereens and lose half a squad or even all their squads when they're risking it. And that's why you have to be careful on how you utilize the vehicles when it comes down to it.
Yeah, because even though the boat is somewhat of a safe safe way, passageway. It's also kind of, once you're there, once you're on a boat, and once you're in the water, there's kind of no turning back. Because you try and jump out of the boat, you're in the water, you get spot out, you're going to lose your life. If you're in the boat and it gets blown up, you've lost your life. It's just kind of, it's go hard or go home when you're in the boat.
Yeah, you got to act fast. You got to think and have a good, clear decision on where you want to go. You can't risk too much of being shot at from a distance. And already we're seeing No Tag Team have made their way across. MPS have as well. ASM. Like, there's so, at the moment, there's about 4 teams trying to cross the bridge at the same time. This is going to be very interesting.
Tempest going to be getting close to Red Foxes. Red Foxes a little bit split up.
Oh, no.
Has taken a bit of advantage of a sleeping Team Unique, getting a kill and taking out Standing.
Now, I said Team Unique have a bit more time considering they're the only team on military base. So once the circle goes there, you should probably be aware that a lot of other teams are going to want to jump on over. They've now just paid the price, and it's not going to be over for a lot of these players just yet. Nicely done. Oh, my God, how's he got away with that? Jumps out the car. He was being shot at. Greg had the drop on him, but it does not matter. Kajoran, he's able to do all the damage and pick up the kill. And Unique, down 2 players already. This is not what they would have wanted. The Moops, they brought the pain.
And I kind of don't understand why Team Unique are split up in that case. If they're in a 2-2 split, I don't mind, but that's kind of a 2-1-1. And as we talked about with Military Island, all the teams are going to be making their way through. It's only a matter of time before you're going to have a rush of teams. That was only one team. Imagine if there's another team there. It's overall, it's just not the most clever play coming out from Team Unique in this Erangel game so far.
This 4Kings battle against the Wildcats. 4Kings were down here in Primorsk before anyone else. The Wildcats have rolled on up, and then they're being rolled on out. Laza is on the floor. Gezon's already gone down, and 4Kings have a lot of control here. This is brilliant for them.
I don't think Istanbul Wildcats expected 4Kings to still be there. I think they kind of expected 4Kings to have moved out of that position by now. I was as well, but 4Kings love Primorsk. They love holding on and looting up as much as they can in that area before moving out wherever the circle is. And they've taken advantage against Istanbul Wildcats.
Apocalypse is the only Wildcat left up and running. I loved Many's position here. So Many is not actually in Primorsk. He's between Ferry Pier and Primorsk, and he was able to shoot from just the beach, long range, go across. And so even when the Wildcats were trying to hide, he had a good enough ground where he could cover him, while the rest of 4Kings were applying the pressure close range. So really solid stuff here from 4Kings to kick things off with. But they still do need to make it over towards the military base. That's going to be the problem.
Talking of making it over towards military base, Northern Lights are shifting from the mainland to the island from the center, and Airstation might go right in their grasp. Jazza looking for those shots. Spyro dancing around, jumping up and down, trying to avoid them as the smoke grenade will go out. That connects, pops him down to about 25 health, and he goes behind that rock.
ToWzErA taking shots throughout the smoke. Jazza's the one that's able to get the knock onto him, though. And Northern Lights again. They went out in 15th place on the first game. They do not want to have a similar position again. They cannot afford to have this. Yes, you may be at top at the moment, but we spoke about it. There's still so many games to play with here.
Especially when they're fighting against their rivals, so to speak, in the standings. Airstation Mike, who they're on equal points. So right now, Airstation Mike are winning that war all the while. You have Deep and OK Bro. They're actually facing pressure from MJ-Esports. So not only are they pinched by the water, they're pinched by 2 squads. One in military base, one in the mainland.
A huge potential going to work their way across now. They've gone really far out wide as well to ensure they weren't being shot at, so they've gone more off towards the east. Now they're going to work their way in towards Novo. Now, Tempers are still there, but not all of them. It's just Clib who's actually on Novo, and the rest of them are split up. So this could be something that could work out quite well for him, but Northern Lights, nothing is working out well for him. A terrible first game in 15th place, and Perfectix has just gone down now. They've only got 2 more players who are yet to even cross over towards military base. This is not looking good for them at all.
Now, if I was Deep in OK Bro, because MJ-Esports has shifted a little bit more down west towards the coastline, I would actually exit away from there and go back onto the mainland. And because it's still only going to be phase 2, and maybe look to go into Military Island from even going into the blue would be a safer passageway than where they're looking at right now.
You can see even where OK Bro was, he couldn't do any damage to protect the rest of his teammates. And ASM are now going to continue doing the damage. Airstation, Mike want to eliminate them once again. This new circle's popped. It's covered most of military base. Jokers are still just about to go over the bridge, but they are included in it. Novo's just been excluded by a very short amount. But 4 Kings, they've got Elgig just behind him. Apocalypse still in Primorsk, wondering how he now gets over, because I don't think there's any boats left for him. So this is pretty rough for the Wildcats now. You've got a tough decision to make, and you need to make it fast, because it's restricting in 1 minute.
Yeah, and also these teams have kind of got to make a call. Do we hold a position inside the base? Do we hold a position on the south mountainside, or do we hold a position on the north mountainside? And they're just got to make that play, make that call, and hope that the circle heads in that direction.
We'll find out in the next few minutes, that's for sure. Red Fox, they had a good fight on their hand when it came to the first game that we had of today. See if they can improve upon that. They did walk away with 4th place with 8 kills. No tag team. The names on this team is enough to make you scared just thinking of what you go up against, right? Now they need to show it. They're just working their way up military base. They've got vehicles as well. They're trying to play this smart and get across as quickly as possible, because they know what can happen with teams jumping all over them, especially the other teams that are still rotating in. So they want to get themselves into a spot where they can find at least a compound to work from.
But with so many teams inside that base area, if that shifts far away from the base, whether it's north or south, you could find a number of these teams fighting against each other in the next couple of minutes. Of course, time will tell. But as I said, these teams are just looking to find these positions. 4 Kings, after taking out Istanbul Wildcats, they made their way across. They're in the south side. They're probably going to hold a position looking over the plains onto military base. And of course, Team MOOPHEUS, they are just going to hold on to his compound. Now, this is the kind of area where we saw TSM take advantage of the ledge grab towards the end in PEL, so we could see something similar if it's a base finish. Otherwise, it's just going to be a mountainside, lots of forestry, lots of trees to play with, and teams will have to find a prime position around it.
Apocalypse got 34 bandages. He's taken damage. It's only phase 2. He's got himself a vehicle now, at least. I just don't know what he expects to do when he does finally get across. Like, wherever he goes from here is going to be tough.
Yeah, because you see, the Western Bridge is essentially occupied by both BetterLuckNxTime and MJ-Esports. The Eastern Bridge is even worse, because you've got Northern Lights, huge potential, and Jokers. Jokers are literally bridge camping it. And then Brute Force are in the military base across. So it's not going to be good. I reckon the best play for the final member of Istanbul Wildcats will probably be just to swim across the water and just hope he doesn't get spotted out.
Yeah, we have to wait and see what he decides to do here. Is ELGIGANTEN. They're currently down in the far south of military base. They're the last team to make it across, which is good information for them to have, because they can just focus on what's coming up ahead of them. As we see this next circle pop, a bit of water and the bridge is still included on this eastern side. Military base has been cut in half, though. So some of these teams like MJ and No Tag Team, we've got BetterLuckNxTime as well, and PG18 have to move in further. This is where it gets tougher, because the mountainsides we have around here, there's less room to work around, and you're also losing a lot of compounds coming out of the military base. So there's going to be a lot of open areas to fight from here.
And this is where it does, for now, favour Cleve from Tempest, because they have a 2-1 split. It's very clever, because there's a really strong chance that it's not going to go in the next couple of phases around that big kind of mountainside, high ground area. But by having that one person, he's giving so much communication, so much vision to the other members of Tempest who are down that hill in a compound. So it's great teamwork, great kind of split position coming out from Tempest. And I reckon it'll pay off in the next couple of minutes.
Apocalypse made it, by the way. Apocalypse actually managed to get across the bridge. He's probably very low on health. He's going to struggle, but who also might struggle is Hawkeye. He's surrounded. Nades coming out towards him. He's got his teammates nearby, but these are the ones that are out in the open. So the problem we have here, when they're going up against Red Fox, you have limited options to hide from. These nades go out, the first knocks come in, and now it's how MPS decide to react.
Well, you do have Kofest, kind of high ground. You also have Freenop. flank around a bit more. And the good thing for Team MOORPHEUS is even though they're out in the open, they're able to dance around the grenades a little bit more, whereas opposed from Red Foxes, when a grenade goes through that window, it can go against them. But Meta Bay with a double knockdown and a kill on both Double and K Doran as MOORPHEUS get eliminated.
From second place with 11 kills to 16th place. Sometimes that is just the way it goes down, and these military circles are never easy. More damage being done here by ghostar, tapping away, able to get the damage done, but not the knocks this time around. PG-18, they found their fight, and they're going to be taking on towards MJ-E, but they can't be completely happy with it because they know that they've got no tag team nearby as well, so they're not completely out of the woods. They can't just focus on one team.
No, they can't indeed. MJ-Esports are looking to get onto the top of the center of the circle, hold that mountainside. I really like how they're just kind of being a bit more forward thinking. Airstation Mike are kind of doing the same thing, but in a bit of a 2-2 split. As we do see the boom being knocked down from Joker. That revive should come out because he's pretty protected. But this is what I was talking about. Look at Klebe. Klebe is actually shooting down. He's holding a high ground. As I said, giving communication to the rest of his team, he's able to pop shots off to push these teams away from the rest of Tempest.
This circle pops, and we're going to shift down towards the south. Now, this helps out ELGIGANTEN quite a lot. Unique, who lost 2 players very early on, are going to be fine as well. Apocalypse finally being picked off. PG-18 waited for him to come through. He went on a little journey all on his own, but it was not meant to be. And now we're down to 14 teams, but only 44 players alive.
Bridge camping, blows up that vehicle, takes out E-Hot from huge potential, leaving just Greenhawk and Zolters left standing.
Now, I like this from Jokers. They're still expecting more to come across, so they're still holding on to this bridge position. Unique, they're going to be found by 4 Kings. They've only got Des out left, and they were split. They were trying to keep their numbers. And I like this, right? When you're down to just 2 players, splitting up like this isn't a problem because you're playing for the long game at this point because you know going up 2 versus 4 many times isn't going to work out for you.
Exactly, especially with the nade meta. So if you're in a compromising position, 2 people together, it is much riskier. But when you're split up, you're able to communicate that.
Oh, wow.
Now ELGIGANTEN died to the play zone. ghostar taken out.
Strange. Were they getting held off? Because they had no teams behind them.
No. And they were pretty safely in the southern side. They had a bit of a fight against 4 Kings where they lost the majority of their players. So I think that really hurt them at the end of the day, and they used a lot of their utility. But now Bro does not connect too much and gets taken out by Moon.
Northern Lights cannot catch a break. 2 went to swim across at the very beginning and got picked apart, and now the Deep is the only one that is left alive. What can the Deep do? Probably not a lot. He'll aim to probably maybe prone himself away through this. He can get inside the circle still, but it all relies on Jokers not seeing him try and sneak in.
Again, MJ-Esports really respond to those circle shifts very quickly. They hold center in a bit of a split. And now PG-18 outside the circle are connecting quite easily onto the side of BetterLuckNxTime. And Airstation Mike, they will want to join in on the fun as well.
Yeah, third partying is going to be key if they want to jump into this and get some additional kills and potentially be the kings of this third party and take both teams down alongside them. That's what's always the end result goal that they want to try and achieve when it comes to that.
And you're also pushing the likes of PG and BetterLuckNxTime down south, which is down the hill, exposing their position a little bit more so. And this is what I was talking about. You know, we saw coming out, but now we're going to connect. Physic was knocked down. Seems like BetterLuckNxTime are going to need more luck next time.
Still got 3 alive, but they're surrounded by ASM and PG-18. They've also got no cover. They're just looking at trees and bushes to hide behind. It's never ideal.
No.
But PG-18, they've not got an easy run on their hands here. Multiple teams still looking towards them, and this could actually benefit the BetterLuckNxTime team in order for them to get a better position in this.
Yeah, Airstation Mike, even though they look confident and strong, it's not out of the woods for them, no pun intended, because they could really get pushed together. However, we see Red Foxes joining in from a distance, knocking down Jazza, but the Wanderer from PG18 takes away that kill.
Stealing kills. It's not a bad thing in PUBG. Nope. It's what you want to try and do to ensure that you get the most amount of kills without being focus fired down when it comes to it. But who is being focus fired at the moment is Jokers. And again, it's only trees they've got to hide behind. But like you were mentioning earlier, better luck next time. They were down and out of it. They were losing players, and now they're completely gone in 13th place.
And now PG18 get eliminated. They did as much as they could at the time they had outside the circle. And Airstation Mike cleaned them up, giving Airstation Mike more freedom, more space, and now they're going to show even more aggression and instantly head up northwards to try and take out Jokers.
Jokers got to be careful. They've been firing on for so long. Limited cover, and they're spending a lot of utility here. Utility like the smokes are so vital for the later games. And remember, we still got 11 teams here.
That is exactly right. You use too many smoke grenades early on, even too many frag grenades early on, and it can really impact your late game aggression, your late game position. And when you come down to the final 3 or 4 teams and you just can't get into that position because of that lack of utility, it feels bad, man.
Well, it doesn't feel bad for ASM at the moment because they're still able to do further damage. They get the knock-ons at the boom and they're looking for more. These players are knocked down, and Hugstar, he wants to finish them off completely. Already up at 7 kills, and they are not slowing down whatsoever. But Hugstar, you got to try and finish these guys off, man. Don't allow them to be stolen away from you anytime soon. Eventually, the deep will fall, and as do Northern Lights, now going out in 11th place this time around.
No, I don't think they even managed to secure a point as well. So that's going to be 2 games with 0 points, if I'm not mistaken. All the while, this fight continues. Red Fox is holding on to that compound still against no tag team, but Jokers get eliminated in 10th place. Airstation Mike, that's going to be the guts of round 2. Squad wipes they've had in this game so far. I think that's 8 kills in total.
Connor looking to try and find his way in. Sees the nade, where's to hide. Won't take any damage from it either. Brilliantly timed. He was able to get away and escape there. Red Fox player still inside. Give it, spraying away. Looking to pre-fire one of the corners here. Medabay will go down, but he's got no teammates close enough to even help him out yet. So full control here for no tag team.
That's the no tag team that I remember being in control, being aggressive, breaching those buildings effectively. But it's definitely not over because they just hold on to the edge of the circle. What is the next phase going to do? It's going to shift down west, helping Tempest. We saw Cleve move down from that mountainside earlier on. Clever play, keeping them as a 3-man strong team. Huge potential, go out in 8th place, dying to the play zone. 4 Kings have flanked around very effectively to the southwards area of this map, all on their lonesome. Although they are in a bit of a 2-and-2 split, Higgy and Manny could be put under hassle by both Jevles and Freenop because they're going across the road.
This is so smart now by Blue Force as well. While the other fights are going on, they've got cover up in the north, they're pushing away. So they'll be able to get across the bridge and then get closer towards Tempest. While Airstation Mike, they're still taking fights, but this is keeping everyone else busy for now.
11 kills Airstation Mike have so far. I thought it was just 8, but man, they are just popping off. And to be honest, I'm overall not surprised because when you look at where they are in standings, joint first, they have 78 kill points and 62 placement points. It's actually quite even, but it doesn't stop them being aggressive when they have the chance. But Fate did get knocked down by Freenop.
Red Foxes are fighting on every single angle at the moment, taking on no tag team as well. They've got to be careful. You can overcommit to this, though. They're going to continue to push forward. They're looking to do more damage. Givett's being pushed away. He's hiding behind the tree. He's got his teammate O'Connell close by, but he's going to have no time to bring him up. Freenop has to land this, has to move perfectly, and that's exactly what he does. No tag team down in 7th, and Red Foxes, they stay alive. They'll be able to get some loot, and they'll be able to continue to push forward, but he is very close to the zone, so he has not got a lot of time.
He has not got a lot of time at all. And the second he gets closer to that circle, which there's a bit of a dip going across the road, he's going to find himself very exposed, either by the hands of Airstation Mike, or you've Brute Force looking in that direction, MJ-Esports, and of course, Tempest.
Oh no. Stratos, you can't miss shots like that. You had the drop on him. He's just spraying away. He's still able to get the knock in. He's very lucky with that one. He was headshotted, but instantly he's falling back. Smoke's going to go out, and he wants to provide himself some cover. Well, that's going to be a nade to finish him off, so he doesn't want to risk it by standing up, but he will at least get the kill. Is he going to smoke himself out now and find himself some additional cover here? Because they will know exactly where to look for him. He's a solo player here. He got one kill, which is fair enough, but now it's going to be all eyes on him.
He definitely didn't have to use utility, and that could very easily have gone against him. Luckily, nobody else from any of the other teams were looking in that direction, simply because when you look at Airstation Mike and freeing up of Red Foxes, they can't really look in that direction, because the second they do, again, they're exposing themselves to Four Kings and Tempest, as well as even Brute Force. But this shift goes in the favor of Airstation Mike and Red Foxes. Who would have thought it, Banks?
Look at Tempest. You had the compound. You had a great area to work from. They're all in the same building as well. But now they're going to have to push out. And what they have to be careful of is the other teams who will literally just be poised and ready, looking for them to make a mistake like that. And Higgy, well, he's going to go down. Hugstar, he's not done just yet. We're talking about the amount of kills that are coming up here for ASM. Multiple players in their team are dying. They've only got 2 alive right now. But is it going to be enough to help them to continue to push forward on this one? Tell a lie, they've only got 1 alive.
Yeah,
they went from 2 to 1 real quick. Yeah. So ToWzErA is just completely isolated now.
All the while, Stratus has just thanked his lucky stars, because he's still prone down in the middle of the circle. All the teams around him are just going to be taking each other out with that road split, with that kind of high ground and the dip on both sides of the road. Good thing for Tempest, though, is that they have the wall outside that compound that they're going to be able to use to their advantage, use their protection, but Four Kings know that they are there.
Oh, Manny 2-on-5. He's not going to have a good time at all. Pokes up. He's just looking for some information. Instead, he finds a load of bullets coming his way and will take a fair amount of damage. Still alive, though, not being knocked out of it just yet. But this is at least giving him the awareness that there are teams in every direction.
I don't think Brute Force really are looking so heavily in the direction of Tempest, other than maybe Hawk. He will be communicating that, but I do worry that both HalloSenpai and Maken could get exposed with the shots being shot in the direction by Tempest. We see Wookie Bookie looking to shoot in that direction. Takes 20 damage, prones himself down.
This is nice and smart from Tempest, though. Look how they're holding this line. They've got cover. They can drop down when needed, but they're also trying to push away the teams that are close by. They're not risking anything just yet, hence the amount of smokes as well. They want to make sure they get themselves fully medded and bandaged up to ensure that they do have the health to work with. But Clib, he'll find himself being knocked here as the nades go out towards him. GRISHKAPOWER delivering that one to him. 4 Kings line up. 4 players in it.
Still have 6 teams, although there's only 13 players. Actually, no, sorry, make that 5 teams and 12 players. Airstation Mike eliminated, freeing up, getting a certain level of revenge and keeping his team in it.
"27 minutes in. Phase 8 as of now. 12 players still up and running. Higgy and Manny. We're looking for further information. Higgy's going to land some headshots, and Tempest, they've been rattled. They've been taken down here. Clib's the next one to be completely annihilated, and this is not what Tempest would have wanted. They held on to this. They had to move out the compound, and they have both BF and 4 Kings able to deliver a ton of pain towards them, and Tempest, they'll be going out in 5th.
Maybe Tempest were too passive towards the later stages. Maybe they gave 4 Kings too much freedom to breach that area and put pressure onto them. I know Tempest were facing a bit of hassle from Brute Force, but when you look at the way Brute Force were rotating, they weren't actually looking to really kind of put pressure on the Tempest. They were actually going across the other side of the road. So, as I said, just too much room was given to 4 Kings, and Tempest paid the price.
Red Foxes find themselves going out in 4th. He was trying to hold on as long as possible, but it's not going to work out this time around. Straight after it, Brute Force are the next ones to go down. That leaves us with just MJ-Esports Stratos, who's been hiding in the center for the longest of time, going up against all the players left on 4 Kings. And I don't think 4 Kings have any idea where he actually is sat.
4 Kings are on 17 kills so far. If they, obviously presuming they're going to get this chicken dinner and 18 kills, that's going to be the highest points result we've had in an individual game so far in the Contenders.
Can he add one more to it? No. But 18 kills still for 4Kings alongside the win.
Amazing.
And a very solid win for those guys to pick up here, right? We were talking about them. They were down in 16th place at the beginning of today. That's a 28-point game. That's going to completely change how this school plays out.
I told you, this is great. Like, and again, that's 2 games down out of 16, leaving 14 left. It could happen again. It could happen again to Tempest. We're going to see these leaderboards shift so much over the coming games and days.
Oh, yes, that's what it's all about. And the thing is, if you're rooting for one team in particular, you're thinking, oh, my team's not doing so well right now. Like Cormac was just saying, with how many games there are, and look at that, you can have a 28-point game. It really is anyone's game. It can change so quickly. You just need one good day. Some teams, we've seen it many times before, they just start feeling it, getting into the groove of things, starting to just land their shots, and they have the confidence, and they can walk away with 2-3 chicken dinners a day. We saw it in phase 1. 3 in 1 a day was insane. And then we had multiple days where we'd have 2 teams who just clean up all 4.
Yeah, it's very possible. And I hope that gives a lot of confidence to 4Kings. I've seen pinches of it throughout the first 4 days. There's moments, there's like little bits where you kind of go, yeah, this is 4Kings. I know it's not the real 4, it's a fake 4Kings as you call them, so to speak. But the players have such a level of talent and ability that I've seen them, but it just hadn't come together until now.
And that's what it's all about, right? It's finding what works for you. And also, you can't ever recreate exactly what's happening.
True.
But it's having good positions to say, okay, when this happens, this is how we deal with it. This is what we do next. And I think that's the real big difference between some of the top tier teams who take it very seriously and some of the teams that are still trying to find their feet within the PUBG scene. And
here's the thing, like, even if the circle had shifted more towards where Tempest were initially, I still don't think that would have affected 4Kings playstyle and 4Kings result, because, as I said, when you looked at how much room Tempest were actually giving 4Kings, even though the circle was kind of pinched away from them, the circle did not matter to 4Kings. They wanted what they wanted, which is the kills, which is the chicken dinner, and by God, did they get it.
Shots. That was beautiful. That headshot just then. Blast on. You just watched his head rock back as he took the hit. Stratos, man, he did really well, all things considered. Like, you're just prone. You really couldn't move anywhere. It was in a dip as it was. And, well, he managed to walk away with 2nd place. Yes, it's not a huge amount of kills, but it's a good amount of placement points to be taking through for his team. Now, this is scary. Northern Lights, 2 games, 0 points now. They were number 1 before going into this.
And even ELGIGANTEN, Istanbul Wildcat, that's essentially 3 of the top 5 teams in this game walking away with 0 points. Like I said, that's really going to help. I know the Joker's only got 2 points, but that's still 2 more points in them. Helps it in the overall standings, helps it with the consistency. But look at that. What a sight to behold. Double the points of 2nd place, which was of course secured by Red Foxes. 28 points for 4Kings. Ridiculous.
Not bad at all. A lot of kills coming out there for Airstation, Red Fox, and 4Kings.
Yes.
Just eliminating most of the server there, single-handedly getting the job done.
Like that, and here's the thing, it speaks for itself. Tempest got 1 kill. You consider how much of the circle they had in their favor for how long. I think it was a good, pretty much the whole game. They had the circle in their favor and they didn't pay the price. They need to take a leaf out of the MOOPHEUS book or even PG18's book and look to force more aggression onto these teams and take control of that circle when it's in their side.
That is what it's all about. As well, unknown is unknown, but he's getting 7 kills.
It's got to be 4Kings.
He's a very skilled unknown player for sure. Yeah, he is likely to be one of the 4Kings players. Which one I wouldn't be able to tell you based off of that. fEJK was down there on 4 as well, alongside GRISHKAPOWER. So other than the guy who managed to get 7 kills, everyone else is pretty close within range of each other. So it was a fair fragging field. No one player really stepping up, bar Mr. Unknown over here.
But this is the head-to-head between 4Kings and Red Foxes. You got to say, Red Foxes 1,600 damage, but only 10 kills, so the conversion rate isn't super high, but 1,200 damage and 18 kills. They just took full advantage of their position, their aggression, which gave them so much more freedom.
And what was huge here for Red Foxes is that they were fighting very often in the open. They didn't have the compounds to fight from. So, yes, they're able to do a lot of damage, but it's harder to get the knocks when people keep hiding away. It was Manny who probably got the 7 kills, hence why we got these head-to-head stats. Oh, no, we're going to GRISHKAPOWER. Okay, we're comparing him. It's fair enough.
Was probably Manny.
But Manny's only got a 7. That makes sense now. All starts to add up just a little bit. Oh, Mr. Producer and I just told us, yes, it's Manny. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Always good keeping us informed. But for Red Foxes, again, look, damage was being done. They were fighting non-stop. But it's all well and good being a high damage dealer, but you've got to be able to either finish it off or also make sure your teammates finishing off at the same time.
And in fairness to Red Foxes, in their kind of early on in Military Island, they faced that compound against both Team Oops and No Tag Team. They survived, which once again gave them more space to circle around them and allowed them to just push forward and take advantage of Airstation, Mike, and of course Brute Forces.
Interesting couple of Erangel games. But that's it for Erangel. We've got 2 more games coming your way. And next up, we're going over towards the desert. We are going back to Miramar to see what these teams can offer. The question is, who will be able to take the win this time around? Well, you guys will be finding out in just a few moments. We're going to a break, and we'll see you very